What's up, Vinyl Community? I'm Robert Fithen. Welcome to the Vinyl Community Guncles episode number 3. I'm here along with Richard from Calvin Wazoo. Craig is also here from Craig's Vinyl Plethora, as well as from Hub Tunes. It's Mike who, okay, we're going to make this really quick, but Mike did actually get a call from one of the execs at MoFi. And, what was up with that?
Well, you guys can check out my channel. There's 2 videos about MoFi real quick because I'm over MoFi right now.
I think everybody's kind of like,
everyone is, and I hear there's more in-groove videos coming, and I don't want to even talk about it. But when I posted my first video, about 3 days later, I got an email from somebody at MoFi, somebody pretty high up. I'm not going to say the person's name. I didn't ask if I could use his name, so I'm not going to. I'll have a little respect there. But he's pretty high up. He's been with the company 22 years, almost 22 years. And he wanted to reach out to me, do a quick phone call. Why me? My little dinky channel. He could pick Mazzy. He could pick, anybody. So I called him the next day. We talked for about 22 minutes. He went into a lot of mastering stuff and how they do, the digital step and everything. A lot of it goes right over my head. But he was up front with me. I mean, he told me, they are definitely doing the digital source. There is a digital step in the mastering. And I didn't really want to dwell on the past. I kind of wanted to see, okay, what are you going to do in the future? And I asked him, if they're going to start putting on the record, some type of disclaimer or, some just information about the sourcing and the mastering. And he said, yes, they are going to do that. Not right away because they already have a lot of sleeves printed. It sounded like he's got at least, I was going to say like at least 4 or 5 titles already printed. So he said that's not going to happen right away. But next week, starting Tuesday and Wednesday, he's going to, they're going to start putting on their website the back catalog and all the sourcing and how it was done. Which, does that help? Does that make the audio file?
Well, that's where all of the hundreds of opinions are coming in. Yeah, but that's and if you want to know more, like you said, you got a video that really delves into it. Check out Hub Tunes.
We talked about a PR guy. They need somebody. They need a face of the company, and he agreed. And so just check out my videos. They're both up, and that's it. I don't want to talk about MoFi anymore.
And MoFi done.
I am really over it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, mine still sound the same as they did, before. So
exactly, they sound the same as they did last week.
That would be one of the opinions going around. That would be one of the popular ones. Yes.
I hope that is popular because it's true. So. That's about it. Yeah, I was surprised that somebody actually reached out to me. And he could have easily had a customer service rep do that. That's not something he had to do. And he gave me his cell phone number, and so we had a nice conversation. It was very nice. He was a very nice guy, but it didn't.
Well, some of those are really
didn't solve any of the problems.
Yeah, well, people have money invested, a big money, with the $125 single LP release. Well, you would know, right? Yeah. And I think that's the thing that hits some people harder than others is how much money. I mean, if you can go see the band live for that, Well, maybe not because concert prices are just like, just like the vinyl prices, the festivals and everything just skyrocketing as well. So.
Yeah, they have the Lollapalooza here in Chicago. It's
this is coming weekend.
This weekend, isn't it?
Coming up.
I think it starts on a Thursday now. It used to be a 3-day. Now it's a 4-day. And for a while, you could only buy a ticket for the entire festival. I saw on their website this year you can buy single-day tickets for like $130. And I was looking at their lineup. There's like one band I would want to go see. So why, pay $130 to see a band? It's not Madonna.
If you're gonna see 3 or 4 bands,
well, Madonna wouldn't even be a band. I mean, now we're talking about a person.
It's worth it if you're gonna see 3 or 4
lip syncing. But
I can't imagine, the people who buy, the weekend tickets, and stay for the whole weekend. Because I can remember, a lot of them stay at the Congress Hotel.
Yeah.
And I'd been there on a weekend before and seeing all the people hanging out, that are getting ready to, go over to Grant Park. And, yeah, they're all, 30 years old or younger. Well, not all, but many of them, and they're spending all this cash on these tickets. It's like, I ain't got cash like that.
Well, that's what it's for when you're that age, and what else are you going to spend it on? Everybody wants to have their good times while they can. That's smart. That's how you know when you're spending money smart. When you're young and you're spending it on concerts and experiences and good times. If I had a child, that's exactly what I would tell. I would say, when you're young, you want to spend that money on some good times. Forget about investing or what. Good times, because you can invest later. You can't have some good times. Same kind of good times.
And you could be dead tomorrow.
Yeah,
right.
It's true.
And we're lucky up here. We have 3 big music festivals. We also have Riot Fest, which is kind of out west. That's a much.
I've never been to that one yet because it's actually so hard to get to.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to get to. Yeah, but it's great. It's a little more spread out, and it's not as big, obviously, as Lollapalooza. And then we have Pitchfork, which has great bands, but it's in a really tiny park. Like, it's very, very crowded, and the pricing is $350, I think, $300 for a 3-day pass, and then again the 1-day passes they're over $100. But like, I wanted to go. It was last weekend. I wanted to go on Saturday. I can't do music festivals anymore. That's
what I'm saying.
but I wanted to go Wednesday because there were like 4 or 5 bands, and I'm thinking $150 for 5 bands. That's good. But then the downtime in between bands where you're just kind of like sitting around, And then
you add on the parking with that too, and you're probably going to eat. If you're there that long, you're going to eat stuff there, and that's going to be 3 times as much as it's worth. And drinking $20 beers, and
it's not worth it for me. I'll stick to my little 500 person venues. Yeah. I'm perfectly happy.
Well,
are they trying to make up for like lost revenue with all of the closure during the the pandemic and everything? And,
some of these Lala's been charging that much money even before. They were always prime tickets. They were always very expensive.
Well, and it was just 1-day event at the beginning, right? Lollapalooza.
No,
originally
the first one, because I actually had tickets for the very first one, and it was
in Chicago.
I think it was
in Phoenix. It was back in the 90s,
okay.
Like 91-ish, 92-ish. It was a great.
Yeah, I don't think they started the Chicago ones until the last decade.
Well, they stopped it for a while, didn't they? Didn't they stop them for a while?
I think
they skipped 1 year. I think they skipped 2020.
Yeah, because it was like 91 or 92, because it was Jane's Addiction, Susie and the Banshees, 92, Color. And
wasn't like Body Count there, the Ice-T group, and
that sounds right.
Pearl Jam?
No, because nobody really knew who Pearl Jam was at that time.
That's what I mean, but weren't they there though, and not like kind of like a newer we're going to introduce Pearl Jam to the world via Lollapalooza?
Not that I remember, but I mean I was still in high school, so
maybe I'm thinking of the second.
It was a really long time ago, but yeah, my friends never came and picked me up, so I didn't get to go to that show. It was pretty, and I got them the tickets, but I think we paid like $20. It was obviously general admission.
Yeah.
And then I've only other like festival thing, like we have Bumbershoot in Seattle. I went to that once. I paid $15 for a day pass, but I only saw 2 shows and left. But
here's a promo CD for a few bands from Lollapalooza '92. I guess that was the second one. There's the cover for that, and you can see that it's who was at the second one. Some of the people there: Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Ice Cube, Jesus and Mary Chain, Ministry.
Okay, so it had to be 90 or 91 then. So
I think 91 was the first one, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, this was, I think, the second one.
Yeah, I'm looking up when they started in Chicago, but the first one period was 1991.
Okay, that was the one I was supposed to go to. Stupid friends.
Yeah, friends will let you down. Most of all, your friends.
And I've never talked to her friends. So.
Oh, okay.
They'll let you down, they will let you be around.
Right. So. Friends will.
Okay. Yeah.
It was 1991 in Chicago also. All right. I didn't realize that. and it was 3 days in Chicago, July 28th
Yeah,
to the 31st. Or, no, that's this year. Never mind. The 4
They
days.
just started the 4-day thing a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I think they did it for like an anniversary, maybe, and now it's become permanent. 4 days, right downtown Chicago.
Well, even the Ravinia Festival that they have, the summer series, I used to love going up there because they've got the lawn area, and you'd pay $10, and you didn't see the band. They had a band show, and but they had the speakers piped in all over the place, so it was a great place to picnic and hang out and listen to the music. And now sometimes the lawn tickets are like $30-$40, and they don't have any $10 shows anymore. No. And when you look at the cost of sitting in the band shell, it's like you might as well buy a band shell ticket, because then you could at least see the musicians.
Yeah, it's a nice band shell too. They have great sound in there.
Yeah, well, I did see one show there. It was Johnny Lang and Buddy Guy. And I saw them in the band show.
When I was in high school, because I grew up out that way, and we used to go there all the time. We'd go 3 or 4 times a summer, and it was a $5 ticket. And you could just walk up and buy the ticket. They never sold out, but they didn't have rock bands. We would go see Spyro Gyra, Chuck Mangione, Pat Metheny, bands like that. And we'd sit on the lawn and we'd eat and maybe smoke a little, and that was it. $5. It was perfect for a high school person to just kill an evening. Now they got big name rock bands.
They do get big names. Sheryl Crow keeps coming.
Everything sells out. Yeah, everything sells out too. You can't get.
Sting has made a couple appearances there.
Is that what happened to Sheryl Crow? She's in Chicago now all the time. Wasn't that a question before? Whatever happened to Sheryl Crow? She was a school teacher down here. She was a school teacher in like one of the Missouri schools here. Oh. I'm not in Missouri. I'm on the other side. I'm in Illinois, by the way. But yeah, she was a school teacher in the area.
Did not know that about her.
Yeah. Then she went on tour with Michael Jackson, right? She was one of his backup singers.
Yeah.
She got quite a great version of "Happy" from Keith Richards on her Live in New York CD. Kind of a
when I saw
great covers. She did a great cover of Bob Dylan's "Mississippi," which I think I saw in an interview. He was saying that he actually kind of gave it to her, wrote it for her to play, and then he released it later on. What is it on Love and Theft, or is it? Can't remember which one it's on.
Well, I know that people, don't have money for concerts, but I do hope some people have at least something to spare for my charity that I'm working with. It's kind of a controversial charity, but I did want to throw it out there. There is some controversy, but it does help the LGBTQ youth that are homeless right now out on the street, and situations like that, for whatever, a lot of people like that because of the pandemic, but only the hot ones.
Oh.
In fact, the organization is called Only the Hot Ones. Oh. And people are scoffing and upset, but the money and donations are pouring in, and people are getting helped. But only the hot ones. But so if you could consider, only the hot ones help today.
Is that .org?
Yes, .org.
Okay, just making sure.
Is one of the family members of the former president working on your?
No, only the hot ones.
And you heard about it here.
You can't help everybody. You have to draw a line somewhere. So
that's true.
Why not only the hot ones?
So wash my feet.
What?
Never mind. I'm not very good with obscure biblical references.
Speaking of non sequiturs, didn't Richard get some records?
Man,
yes, I did.
That's right.
One of my first business trip in 2 years, 3 years, and I usually do. I'll go to a record store in the town that I'm visiting. So I was in the Columbia, Missouri, Jefferson City, Missouri area this past week. And I got some records, been listening to them all afternoon. So I'll go really fast here because there's quite a few of them. But this one store in Jefferson City. All right, so pick this up. You can make me big if you want.
What was the name of the store?
Do that. So it's called the Groove. It's called the Groove.
Oh, so like that? Nope.
You could do it by clicking on my window that you have down below. And it'll
edit and kick and I did this before. How do? Oh, it's this thing, right?
Yeah, there we go. All right, so Count Basie, Breakfast, Dance, and Barbecue. I have not listened to this. It's on the Roulette Birdland series, but and I have no idea. It's cool thing. It's got this stamp on it, inspected by number 568. I used to, when you would buy underwear, there would be that little slip of paper that said inspected by. So I don't know if they inspect records anymore. That's the only one I haven't listened to. But I found this. This is an anime soundtrack for the Tale of the Tale of the Princess Kaguya. Tale of the Princess Kaguya. So this is kind of a real soundtrack in that, most soundtracks will have like the songs or whatever that they play during the movie, and they'll have them in their entirety. What they have here are like each individual musical moment inside. So there's a lot of short pieces on here. It's a Studio Ghibli film, and the soundtrack is really, really quite incredible. Got Dead Can Dance.
Yeah, great record.
Finally got this in my collection now. It's been on my want list for a long time. But, sometimes, you just want to find it in the wild. You don't want to buy it from Discogs. And there it was in the store.
Can I ask how much you paid for that?
This one was $20.
That's a great deal.
And it's a 2016 reissue.
Okay.
This goes back from 1989 or 1984 is when it was released, and they kind of sounded to me like what would if Joy Division had kind of stuck with what they were doing and developing that sound other than the direction they went with New Order. I think Dead Can Dance kind of took that sound themselves and kind of developed it. So very cool.
Got this real dark kind of stuff, right? More like you'd hear on a soundtrack. They do a lot of soundtracks and
the only other Dead Can Dance I have is this one on CD, which is the Spirit Chaser. So I really like their stuff, but it's very post-punk, post-rock kind of goth kind of sounding in many ways. Got this Count Basie, French pressing. Really solid stuff. This was from the In the Groove Records. Where the hell is that store? I don't even remember. Now the next one, I got a Gil Scott-Heron album from this store. And I've been hearing, I haven't heard a lot of Gil Scott-Heron. I remember him from this record, all right, where he sings the song We Almost Lost Detroit. So this was a concert after 3 Mile Island, but there was a nuclear accident in Detroit in like 1960. Where was it? 1963. It was a meltdown, but nothing got released. So it was also that's how David Bowie got his song Panic in Detroit. And then there's this great series on Hulu. Apple TV, about 1971, the year music changed everything. And, or the year that changed, I can't remember, it's Apple TV. But the song, The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, that's Gil Scott-Heron.
Oh, so, I've seen that documentary. That is absolutely fantastic.
It is.
Documentary. I have seen that.
It is really great.
Really
so good. I thought, okay, I need to get something. So I got, this one here, which has got the song Johannesburg, which was this is 1975. So really good stuff. And it's interesting how he juxtaposed South Africa to South Carolina. All right, because in 1975, South Carolina, I traveled there. I've traveled there a couple times on business, and it ain't much different.
Gil Scott-Heron, the revolution will not be televised. Another song that contains the F word.
Really?
Fun fact. Yes.
Well, there you go.
I thought I'd just pop in with that.
The Go-Go's. Not a first pressing, a later pressing, but the same year that it was released.
I love that cover.
Yeah,
That's great.
A lot of great songs on it. A lot of great songs. And then also on Hulu is some musical documentaries, and there was one about Oscar Peterson that is really, really good. And they talked about how Art Tatum was a major influence on Oscar Peterson. And I didn't have any Art Tatum. And then I saw this at the store. This is a Italian pressing. Sounds really clean, really good. Got this from that Jefferson City store, $7. Really, it's like old. It's old recordings, all right. These are from the late 1930s into the mid 1940s. So it's that kind of recording, but I would still say it's like near mint, because even though you're listening to something that was recorded in 1940. Then I got this Eric Dolphy.
I'm really getting good at this, by the way. The whole
The what?
I'm having fun just, being the director here, going back to the four-shot to the solo spot.
I love Eric Dolphy. I mean, he's my favorite jazz musician. And then I started seeing some dance music. Now, I remember, Robert, you were talking about the 12-inch of I Feel Love. And they had that at the store.
Thank you for qualifying that after a pause.
So, yep,
$4.99. I wish it was on the fourth thing, because Craig was actually laughing first. I just wanted to say we didn't get to see it.
It's true.
Because we were only looking at the 12-inch.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we could see.
Single. The single.
No, but that was that was what I said. Like, I Feel Love is what, changed disco music. And
right. It's sort of like the song that really kind of launched the whole disco sound of the later 70s, and that I was blown away when I saw this in the bin. This is DJ Tiesto with Maxi Jazz, and this it was an AIDS fundraising thing, the Dance for Life, and this cover is just so cool. And the song Dance for Life, it's got on side A it's the 12-inch mix. And then the slow mix on side B, the slow mix is really good, but man, the dance mix is just killer rhythms, just really great beat, and it sounds so wonderful. And then, I was supposed to save this one for last. So one more here. I love me some Japanese jazz, so I picked up this compilation. So this is some jazz from from 1968 to 1984, compilation of various jazz musicians. It is a brand new release. This is probably the second most expensive album I bought. The first one being that Studio Ghibli release, but really excellent stuff. And then I finally, Judas Priest.
Yeah.
And that's your first Judas Priest album, right?
Exactly. Screaming for Vengeance. I've always loved the song You Got Another Thing Coming. I remember that song in, when was this, 1984, 82? Okay. Yeah, I remember that song, and I thought it was killer then. I still think it's killer, but I never picked up a record of theirs. And so I finally did. And this one was I think it is. Yeah, it's a first pressing, and it's like a near mint condition. The cover is in really pristine condition, and it's got that original inserts. There you go, the band, and then the lyrics on the other side, and then of course the little order form. If you remember the order form for for T-shirts and stuff like that. So that came with it too.
I wish those order forms still worked.
Yeah.
Did you ever send one off, like get some old, when you were little, like get some old record from long ago and try to send off the thing, like a Beatles album or something, so I send off the order form?
And I look at that photo on the inside, and I think of all the people I knew who were listening to this, and I think to myself, how could you not know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just...
Right. Well, I thought it would be a nice public service from the Vinyl Community Guncles to actually talk about Judas Priest a little bit and decode some of the... Because in Rob Halford's book, he actually invites people to... and see, everybody has their own visual...
Everyone has a Judas Priest record.
Yeah. I don't actually have that one.
This is stained glass.
Stained glass, yeah.
So, I have a Judas Priest cassette.
Excellent.
But it's in a box in the storage, so.
Okay, well, it'd be cooler if it wasn't, but you know.
I was going to dig it out,
Craig's had a rough week.
Yes. But yeah, Rob Halford said in his book that he invites people to go through the Judas Priest catalog and look for these hidden little lyrics, gay lyrics or whatever. And I thought, who better than four of us together to decode Judas Priest? So we can skip over the first two like independent things and start with the Sin After Sin album, which is their big label debut from 1977. This is a great one to start with too, because this has all different mixes of music in it. This has like almost disco elements. It has ballads. It has a Joan Baez cover, and then it has your Judas Priest stuff with the the warrior coming and deafening everybody, and I don't know. But anyway, there's a song on here called Raw Deal that everyone should check out, about basically going into a bar and describing everything that's going on. And by what's going on, it's obviously a particular kind of bar. And Rob Halford himself called Raw Deal his heavy metal gay anthem. So,
and what year did that? What year was that?
77.
Wow.
Yeah. And then 78 we have Stained Class that follows that. That's not my favorite album. That's the one that has that song on there that they were tried to get sued for. It wasn't even their song. It was a Spooky Tooth cover.
Yeah,
Better by You.
Better by You, better
than me. Yeah. It was, about writing a letter to your girlfriend in the war. Yeah.
Yeah.
But is that the one that no? What's on there? Now I can't remember which one's on there.
Exciter. I think Exciter was the...
Yeah, there's Exciter is a good one to listen to. Yeah. Man, I wish I could remember the gay one though. There's always the gay one. What's the gay one?
I think Exciter is pretty gay.
I thought that's what we should do. We should go through and which one is the gay one. Okay, so we are up to Hellbent for Leather next. Hellbent for Leather is a song, and it's all about leather. He's coming to town and he wants some leather. I would play this in bars, and there'd be leather guys who had never heard this before. That's disgraceful.
Wow.
It's a great song, too.
How could a leather guy... But anyway, so... and don't even get me started on I Want to Be Your Dog, but that's a different story for a different time. Yeah, now I can't read the titles on here, because it's like... red on
CDs,
black.
And then the CD, so it's tiny.
Burnin' Up is a good one. He's burning up. And then, of course, we have... British Steel, kind of more the pop one. This has like hits, like Living After Midnight, Breaking the Law, short songs, very immediate songs. They were kind of criticized for this actually a little bit by heavy metal purists. This song has a song on here, coincidentally enough, called Grinder. And the Grinder is Hungry for Meat. So yeah, the Grinder's on here. This came out obviously years before the
Grinders are
the phone app. But yeah, so that's the one on there. And then we have Point of Entry, and that one is more of a video. You want to see the videos for this. And this was a very kind of popish album as well. Hot Rockin' and Don't Go videos. You want to check those out.
I remember Don't Go, yeah.
Yeah, is that the one where they're in the sauna?
I think so, yeah.
Or is that Hot Rockin'? One of them, they're all in the sauna and they're all getting
There
ready.
is a sauna, I remember, yes.
Be careful with those hand gestures, Robert.
Screaming for vengeance. Isn't that all that everybody used to dance in, like they're boxing or something? Anyway, Screaming for Vengeance, 1982. Richard showed this one. The one you want on here definitely is my favorite. They've got a couple on here. Pain and Pleasure. He's kind of into the... But he says he's not in his book. He said it was all a charade. But yeah, so you want...
But that's not what that's what it's about.
Devil's Child. But in his book, he says personally, in his personal life, he's not.
Yeah.
But Devil's Child. Best line ever from any song like this. Your condition breeds ammunition that shoots me in the face. Yeah. So yeah, got Devil's Child on here, all the way through that song. I mean,
rock and roll.
He's had by the throat. Yeah, so I think we're up to one that I don't have now, which is, what are we up to? Defenders of the Faith, which has Jawbreaker on it. Yeah. Which Jawbreaker is described by Rob Halford in the book as being about someone who is... he describes it very coarsely, but I'm too much of a gentleman to describe it the way he did. He says it's about someone who is trying to orally pleasure someone, but it's a bit of a challenge. The song is called Jawbreaker. It's also got one called Eat Me Alive on there. And the funny part about Eat Me Alive, it's another sex song. Obviously, he wants somebody to consume parts of, well, you know, eat him alive. It's when you eat someone, but they continue to live. So they're still alive. That kind of eating alive. Okay, so this is the song, and it's explicit, and I think somebody's got a gun to somebody's head, and maybe, I want you to put a gun to my head and force me to eat you alive, or whatever. Anyway, so Tipper Gore gets a hold of this, and this is one of the first songs that really launched the whole PMRC thing, and one of the complaints was, it's so demeaning to women. It's like, honey, there's no women in this song.
Yeah, you look at all the lyrics, at least with the Screaming for Vengeance. I was looking at all the lyrics, and the lyrics are sexless, and there are no he's or she's. It's always you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so
the pronoun game.
Yeah.
It's time to play the pronoun game. Now, they have all kinds of other songs about all kinds of other stuff, too. My complaint with Judas Priest is there's songs that are about... they get a little juvenile in the mid-'80s with their, you know, we don't need no parental guidance here. And they've got that, we're going to take on the world, that's supposed to be some, like, English football. But it sounds more like a Little League team kids thing or something. But
that was like that. What was it? Turbo? Is that one of the...
Yeah, that's the cassette
Turbo
that he has.
That's the cassette I have. I love Turbo Lover. I love that song so much.
Yeah, this is a 2-disc thing that has a lot of them on there, but yeah, good times with the Judas Priest.
I'm not that familiar with the rest of their catalog, but I know I've always liked the structure of You Got Another Thing Coming, because you got that really strong bass line going through there. And then you've got the one guitar player who's just doing the, and then you got the just those simple chords. It just works so well. And then you got Rob Halford starting to sing. It's like I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
He had some other projects too. He was in a thing called Fight, because this is what he did when he broke out of Judas Priest. It's a little gayer, and he's like, you know what? That's gay. That's not gay enough.
So how does it rank, on the scale of 1 to 10?
This is on a 2. It's actually called a 2, but it's more of a 10, because this is where he went full out Marilyn Manson, 9 Inch Nails kind of stuff. The track on, is it this one? Called I Am a Pig? I Am a Pig was the lead single off of this. Oh. It is not about like Charlotte's Web type. We're not talking but he's pretty much talking about being a...
Didn't he also, I could be totally wrong on this, but didn't he also, for like maybe just one tour, sit in with Black Sabbath and do like, I want to say he did a tour as their lead singer, just briefly, and then it was over as quickly as it started. I could be totally
I know there was a lot of that going on at the same time, it seems... Yeah, put it in the comments. I know there was a lot of that going on at the same time, and so it was hard to remember. But because you had Phil, or what's his name, Paul Rogers was going with Queen, and somebody was in the Cars. Oh wait, he was in the Cars. Then he was in the Cars, and
Todd Rundgren.
Same person. Yeah.
Yeah, Todd Rundgren took over lead vocals for a while.
That was all around the same time. That was weird. That was like, what? Huh?
Yeah, it was very strange. Not good.
So what happened with Axl Rose? Axl Rose took over for AC/DC or something, and somebody broke his leg, or it's good.
No, I think he. Yeah, I mean, he took over for like one tour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he has the same sounding voice, probably a little bit like Bon Scott, that he could have.
Yeah, I don't think it went well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised on that.
Yeah. Comments section though, if you know when if Rob Halford ever sang for Black Sabbath, it would make sense. But yeah, comments. Speaking of comments, we've got a lot of great comments from everybody. We appreciate all the comments that have been coming in, the likes and
a lot of
subscribers and all that. So it's been really great. It's been really positive. A lot of positive feedback. So
yeah,
awesome. Please keep them coming.
Great to see everybody enjoying it, and hungry for more.
Absolute.
Oh, should we get to the what do we do next?
I don't remember.
We've come to a grinding halt.
I think we have
36 minutes in here.
I think we have a record review, don't we?
Yeah. We do. I didn't want to get that nasty that soon, but we can go right to that.
Yeah, I'll mention what the record review is. I'll save my comments for last.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Nice.
That way,
Oh my God! So you're just gonna. So it's a rebuttal. You know what's coming, and you've got a rebuttal.
I'll use the opportunity.
You want to have the last word. I get it.
I'll use the opportunity to throw so much shade you won't know if your eyes are open in the dark or if
oh wow! Right. Now we've reformatted for this.
So the record I recommended was this one, Blue Neighborhood, by Troye Sivan. I believe it was his debut. It's a double record, but 3 sides. And I'll save my comments for after everyone else's.
Which one is that? Is that just the black vinyl? Because I've seen there's a one that's got the.
Yeah, the one I have is just black vinyl.
That's like the color. The vinyl is the color of the scheme of the color of the sky.
Yeah, the label is kind of a. It's not turquoise, but it's it's more green than blue to me.
Nobody wants to go first.
Oh,
come on!
All right, fine.
Yes.
Well, I actually have it.
Hear anything?
Oh, I actually have it, and I've had it since it came out, but I have not listened to it.
When did it come out?
2015. Yeah, 2015 is when it came out.
Yeah.
It's probably been at least 5 years since I've listened to the entire album. I've listened to a few songs here or there. And oddly enough, I don't enjoy it now as much as I did when it came out. So there are still quite a few songs that I really, really enjoy. Bite being my favorite and Heaven being my second favorite, but I'm also a really big Betty Who fan. And the song Youth, which was one of the big singles off of it, it did not age well, in my opinion. But I like his voice. I like kind of the message, being young and gay and in love and whatever. But I don't hate it. Obviously, I own it. But it's really weird for me, that feeling that it gave me this time compared to when I listened to it, 7 years ago. So, I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about it. I mean, I like him. I think his talent. His second album was crap, garbage, as Mike would say. But this one, I mean, again, I really, really enjoyed this record when it came out, and I didn't think that I was going to have that kind of feeling I did listening to it. I mean, it was enjoyable, but it was not as enjoyable as it was 7 years ago. So, yeah, but I still give it like 3 rainbows. No, 2.5 rainbows. Sorry. I feel horrible.
Wow, that's so low.
I'm sorry. Like, yeah. And I really, going into it, honestly, when you said this, was like, oh, great, I love this record. And it's weird how our, like, kind of opinions and stuff can change over time. Again, I don't think it's terrible, but I guess I just don't have the same feelings that I had when I first heard it.
Do you have any idea, like, why you might have changed? Like, what might have... life experience, or
I think life experience. I think that's why the song "Heaven" and "Bite," like those, still kind of resonate with me, because like especially "Heaven," kind of like that kind of, you're seeking for something, and like love is supposed to be like heaven, and then you're kind of realizing that it's not, and maybe it's the fact that I'm going through a divorce, so like anything like that, I'm just like bitter and a bitter bitch, but. I don't know. It's just, it also, parts of it felt very juvenile. And that one song I can't remember that has that terrible rap in it, that I just felt like was added like unnecessarily.
Is that one the one on side 3? Because I kind of always felt side 3 really had nothing to do with the other 2 sides.
I mean, do you have a different? Because mine's double and it has 4 full sides.
Oh, interesting.
There's a version that has the remixes, and then there's a version that doesn't. I looked them all up.
You're right. I've got 4 full sides, and
mine has 1 remix on it. But
yeah, mine does have 4 full sides. That's my mistake. Suburbia is on the side D.
Yeah,
and then the remix of Wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
2.5.
2.5.
2.5.
I'll go next.
Yes.
This is not my wheelhouse. Definitely not my style or anything I would really listen to. Doesn't make it bad or good. I didn't care for it. I thought it was lyrically, I liked it. I actually did go back and I pulled up some of the lyrics online, and I enjoyed the lyrics more than the music itself. I did like the song "Heaven." It's pretty good. I thought the production was really well done, and his voice is really good. I like his voice. Yeah, but overall, it's just not my cup of tea. And that's it. I got nothing else to say about it.
You better do some rainbows.
I wanted to give it...
Which was Craig's idea, the rainbow rating.
Give it 2 full listens. I couldn't even get through the second listen. But I had never heard of this. I'd never heard of this artist. I'd never heard the record before. Interesting, just not my wheelhouse. But yeah, I'll give it 2.5 rainbows.
2.5 again. Same people in a dark room. Okay.
I really appreciate being in a time when something like that is possible, where there can be a young person who is not just a fringe artist or somebody in the UK only or something like that, but somebody has hits in the United States that are blatantly about some sort of gay relationship or whatever. So it's nice to be alive in a time like that. I mean, sure, all of us feel like we have gone through, so much different eras at this point. Well, not a lot of eras. I don't want to make us all sound like, we're turning to stone or something. But I mean, we've been through different eras, and it's nice that it's this way now instead of a different way that it could be. So I appreciate that. But this is, I had a video a year ago where I asked people to suggest albums from the last year for me to listen to, and one of them was Billie Eilish. And I said in that video, I'm just too old for this. I just can't. I mean, I love music that's not made for me. I love like music for different cultures and different parts of the world and different eras. But he's just like, this is like right down the middle of the road, like pop. I mean, this is like Justin Bieber type but gay. So it's hard to like give a critical.
Justin Bieber's not gay?
Well, I mean, you know, he's not sing. This guy's not singing about girls. And I think he does say boy, and he's explicitly singing about a guy. And like I said, I appreciate the album more than, or the person or whatever, more than I like it. I probably would have rather? If I had my druthers, I'd rather had listened to something more current where he's older. I kind of felt like I was hanging out in a teenager's bedroom or something. It got
does he still record?
Yeah, he does.
Yes, and I saw an interview with him. He seems like a nice guy. He's very thin.
Very thin.
Twink. Let's be honest. And singing twink music. This twink music. 2 stars. Because I appreciate it.
I didn't think he would go to 2.5. I figured you'd probably go to 2.
So I'm getting predictable.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know.
And that's the only way to start that.
I first got this record because of the videos on a couple of the songs that I saw. And I was able to relate to that whole scenario that is described in the music, you know, being really fond, perhaps even in love with somebody, but because of whatever issue on their side, they were, you know, either oblivious or unwilling to sort of reciprocate the kind of feeling that I was having. And it really made me think of a situation that I had in high school where there was this guy that I think neither one of us knew what was going on and where our feelings were coming from. It was like, we're talking 1975 in a rural area. So it's like, you know, it was one of those kinds of relationships that was really close, but there was like a big fence between us that neither one of us wanted to cross. So it made me think of that. And I got the record and listened to it. And when I listened to it again for this video, that was the second time I've listened to the album. Because for one thing, I'm not really a fan of, you know, they call it blue-eyed soul, but I call it, you know, white boy R&B. You know, it's I'm just not a fan of that type of music. And to me, a lot of the songs sound, musically, they sound the same. There doesn't seem to be a lot of diversity, you know, in the songs. But again, like a few of you were saying, lyrically, there was a lot more thought maybe going into. I kind of felt like he was a musical artist where he had the song thought out in terms of the story he wanted to tell, but it was some producer who was controlling.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
You know, so they were going for this sound, you know, for the record, and I feel like he sort of just abdicated control over the development of the record. I don't know if his music now is like that. And, you know, certainly this was when he was much younger. He was newer to the music scene. But I really have no interest in listening to anything else by him. You know, I'm going to save my 2 stars for like things that I really hate, or really dislike, or I just think are bad. I don't think this is bad, but it's like Mike was saying, it's not my wheelhouse. It's not a style of music, a genre of music I gravitate to. I'll give it 3 stars. Musically, to me, it's just uninteresting. But the story, especially the way it was depicted in the videos that I saw, that really struck home with me and really interested in me enough that I wanted to pick up the whole album and just give it a listen. Since I have learned it's best to listen to the record online before you shell out the money for it. But yeah, 3 stars I'll give it. I don't hate it,
No.
but I'm probably not going to listen to it again unless somebody asks me to.
So I listened to Gay Justin Bieber all the way through twice, and it's an album that nobody likes. Not even the person that picked it.
There you go. You see, I mean, this is, sometimes we need to do this.
That is unpredictable. Because I've been walking around for 4 days trying to figure out how to be diplomatic. Well, I don't want to say that. How can I put that? Because the other three are going to love it. I can tell that right now.
I listened to it when I first got it. I listened to it all the way through. Listening to it again for this video, I only made it through 2 sides. I didn't listen to any more.
That's cheating. Yeah. I listened. Oh my god! I even watched those videos. Yikes. Okay. You know what? I've had to listen to Gay Justin Bieber all the way through. I've had to listen to a little girl cutting ears off teddy bears. I think it's time we change it up a little bit, and we all do our review of Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band Night Moves.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Wow.
I grew up listening to that record.
Well, you could put the glare right there. It would be perfect. Wait. There. And, there you go. From 1977.
Huge album.
9 songs. It's like 35 minutes long. You can listen to it on the Jacksonville pressing. You can listen to it on the Los Angeles pressing. You can listen to it on the original CD. You can listen to it on the remastered CD.
Oh my goodness.
You can stream it. Bob Seger, Night Moves.
You made an interesting comment, Robert, about, appreciating the time we live in when, music of that, like Troye Sivan or other musicians, where they can be much more candid about, their expression of affection and love for, somebody who is, just not in the traditional concept of, and I'm not just talking about same sex, but just a lot of, stepping out of the norm. It is a really different era, in terms of music.
We were talking about the Judas Priest, how you had to, even if you knew back then, you had to kind of decode things and read between the lines, and now people are just putting it right out like it's just another love song.
It's like the old Hollywood, the unwritten rules in Hollywood about, you couldn't even show a married couple, in bed. That's why there were always the twin beds in a lot of films.
Oh, those were written right down.
Yeah. But there was also the how did they get around gay topics, and still have movies that did really well, in the community. It was always the confused.
Well, if we've got an hour, we can go over the whole pre-code era and the celluloid closet and the whole, Vince Russo and his research and the whole thing. But yeah, a lot of coded stuff, and this means that, and that means this, and Marlene Dietrich, and
like Adam's Rib, that character who was infatuated with Katharine Hepburn, the guy who lived
Pangborn, Alan Pangborn.
Yeah, I mean, you watch that movie and I keep thinking, Jesus, this guy's gayer than a box of birds. Why? What are they? What are they trying to?
But then again, he's speaking to this lesbian, and she's the lead actress, and she's got an alcoholic, homosexual husband at home that she's sometimes in movies with. Yeah, the whole thing is. Well, not. I'd like to think not alcoholic, but it's probably
Who was her
just
husband
really
at the
what I'd
time?
like to think.
It wasn't the guy who played Adam Rib yet, but they got married later, didn't they?
Yeah,
Spencer Tracy.
Spencer, they were married eventually, right?
Oh yeah, well of course they were.
But at the time, she had a different husband.
We had teachers like that were married.
But she had, but she was married. Who was the alcoholic husband that she was married to? Not
Spencer Tracy.
Oh, it was Spencer Tracy.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I don't keep in Hollywood.
I don't keep up with that. So
that would have been if you could pick some places to go. You could live in a specific time. They always say, what time would you want to go back to or whatever. But you could also pick your status and the actual location you lived and what you were doing. I mean, to be around in like 1950s Hollywood and be on the inside of that and be like one of the top players, but maybe not an actor, so you don't have to worry about your public image, but maybe you're like a producer or something, or you're like somebody big but not face recognized, and just to be able to just go from freaking Montgomery Clift to Rock Hudson to just boom, boom, boom. I would totally want to be one of those producers. Does that make me a bad person?
No.
If this was women, I'd be horrible.
It does
for
bring
saying
up
that.
another, term maybe to describe you, but it would not be.
It would all be consensual if they wanted, to be in the movie. Nobody's forcing anybody to be in movies.
That's right. Being on the tech team.
But what a great time that must have been, just to be,
Oh, yeah.
I saw a documentary about some guy that ran a gas station in Hollywood. And it was totally where everybody would come and, they would fill up their, but then they would go inside and they had rooms in the back. And a lot of the Hollywood people would come and just hook up there. And I can't remember what the documentary is called. I think it's on like...
there's a
Prime
series too. It's like Hollywood something. There's a series too that was based on that same thing that was on Netflix. But I only watched the first couple of episodes, then I forgot about it.
Yeah.
Well, and then the actors that were more overtly known or identified or pegged for being gay really never got, Sal Mineo never really got any, much more than any little bit parts, but it was pretty well known that in Hollywood and at that time the only one probably who got away with a lot of big parts would have been Rock Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, then that depends on who you're, how confirmed we are with people and what's still, because then you've got James Dean, and some people say no, not James Dean, and yes, James Dean.
Well, yeah, but even that was kind of. It wasn't as overt as it may have been with someone like Sal Mineo and maybe some others.
With the scene,
maybe it was.
Hudson,
I don't know. I don't know enough about that era. So
Rock Hudson in Pillow Talk, where he's with those silly ass comedies with Doris Day, and the one scene where he's sitting there and he's trying to. His character is straight, but his straight character is trying to pretend to be gay so that Doris Day will not think that he's trying to come on to her, but he is, because he's a straight guy in the movie, but he's pretending. Right. So you have this gay man playing a straight character pretending to be gay for like a scene, and he does the whole
such a great movie.
Drinks his
best
thing with the pinky up and the whole thing. So
well, that's the way you drink, right?
Yeah. I thought that was just an English thing, but apparently
no. Isn't that in our handbook?
I don't know. I like to grip it with my whole hand. I don't want to put pinkies up. Every finger gets the sensation. I don't know what that means.
Pinky swear.
Oh. Maybe I did know what it meant. I just assumed it meant something else.
You just needed
everybody goes through a gay phase, right? Because all boys, they always make the pinky swear, and they're like 10 years old.
You know what's gay is wet willies and wedgies. Can we talk about gay subtext for a minute? Who the hell invented what homosexual invented the wedgie and the wet willy? You are sticking your finger in your mouth and then sticking it in somebody else's hole in their ear, and they're the dork?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You're going around grabbing a guy by his underwear, putting your hands on another guy's underwear and pulling. And the other guy's the dumbass. The guy with the underwear is...
Right. Well, the whole kind of... That goes into the whole nature of bullies, that...
No, that's the closet case. Remember back... Anybody watching, remember back in school, if they were given wedgies...
I never gave anyone a wedgie.
Really?
I didn't either.
It was so weird.
Very bizarre.
I was on the receiving end of many.
Yeah, we didn't really... I went to... The wedgies was like, that's third grade where I went. I mean, they were, get stabbed or something maybe, but not a wedgie.
That's when you were...
And that's better.
St. Louis?
Granite City, Steel Town. Big time, yeah.
Granite City,
Illinois.
Oh,
That's where I grew up. Yeah. You're from Illinois. You've heard of it, right? It's in Illinois.
It's way down
I'm
there.
from Michigan.
Oh. Well, you live in Illinois.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Rockford or something.
Chicago.
That's
Chicago.
Is the town really toddling? Or is that just
Not
something
today.
you say?
Too hot
Song?
today to toddle.
Yeah, it's too dang hot.
It is.
That's a Bronski Beat song. There's a Bronski Beat version of that. It comes on right after Small Town Boy on the album.
There it is.
I always get a feeling this is winding down.
That would be a good cover song, for a gay singer or a gay band to do. It's too damn hot. That's from Porgy and Bess, isn't it?
I think so.
I like to coo with my baby tonight. That song.
Yeah.
It's too darn hot. Erasure's done it.
Who's done that?
Erasure has.
Oh, okay. Oh,
For the Red Hot and Blue tribute album from the 90s, which was benefited AIDS research and stuff like that. Had a whole bunch of current artists at the time doing Cold Border songs. So it's actually really cool.
Yeah, somebody did I've Got You Under My Skin that became a single. I don't remember who it was. Was that Annie Lennox, maybe?
I Got You Under My Skin. I think that was Nana Cherry.
Yeah. That was the single, I think. Yeah. It was a video.
But she added this rap thing in it. Annie Lennox did Every Time We Say Goodbye, which is absolutely just gorgeous. But my favorite on there is the Debbie Harry and Iggy Pop, Well, Did You Ever? That's just the best. So if you haven't heard it, listen to it. It's fun.
Cole Porter, speaking of coded songs, what's up with You're the Top? I'm the bottom, baby. You're the top. That's him, right?
To ask, is that Cole Porter?
I'm not familiar with that song.
I don't know that. Yeah.
Really? You're the top. You're blah blah blah. You're the baby. I'm the bottom, and you're the top. No.
I do.
Okay. Wow. We're just full of surprises.
Yeah,
I know a musical song that two of you don't know. Nobody liked the Troy Sivan or whoever he is. I almost put an E after my name just while I reviewed that. He's got a little E after Troy. It's cute.
Yeah, well, he's a little pretentious anyway, so.
Good times.
Terrible.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Well, it's right at the 1:02. 1 hour and 2 minutes. I think
hope you all still love us after this episode.
Hopefully.
Right.
I don't think Troy Sivan. I'll take that out of the title. I was going to say Troy Sivan review right in the title. That's not going to happen now. No point in driving a bunch of people here to give us thumbs down.
Next week.
Just put a spotlight on it. Yes, Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, Night Moves.
I have not listened to this album in years, and I used to love it in high school. I'm pretty sure I still have it. I used to be a huge Bob Seger fan, and then I grew up.
There's a MoFi. There's a MoFi of it.
Oh, let me get right on that.
Actually, does anybody have it?
I don't have the MoFi.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, I think I
just
have my copy from high school.
All right. Well, we'll do all that next week and a bunch more. We'll also debut a new game where it's called Which Record Would You Pull? Where we'll give a strange scenario, and then the other three have to come up with the perfect record to pull in that scenario. So we'll start that new game next week. And thanks a lot for joining us once again. We are the Vinyl Community Guncles. Once again, I'm Robert Fithen, along with
Richard Calvin Wazoo.
Mike from Hubtunes.
And Craig, Vinyl Plethora.
Thanks again for watching. Please consider subscribing and leave comments and all that stuff. And I don't do something with a bell. You can't unring it though once it's rung.